Hey NFL fans, before we dive into today's hottest stories, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an update from NFL News Now. It's one of those stories that feels like it's been brewing for a while, the kind of tension that doesn't explode overnight, but builds up quietly, week after week, until suddenly you realize it's right there in front of you. And this time, it's got the Dallas Cowboys written all over it. The latest whispers out of Frisco are that the Cowboys might be open to trading away defensive tackle Mazi Smith. Yeah, you heard that right. The same Mazi Smith who was supposed to be the next big presence in the middle of that Dallas defensive line, the first-round pick out of Michigan with all the raw potential in the world. And yet, here we are, 3 years into his NFL career, and the Cowboys are apparently entertaining the idea of moving on. Now, when Ian Rappaport drops a report like this, it's not just background noise. The guy's plugged in. If he's saying the Cowboys appear to be open to dealing Mazi Smith, that means conversations are at least being had behind the scenes. And honestly, if you've been watching this Cowboys defense lately, it sort of makes sense. Dallas has been trying to retool its defensive front ever since the big Micah Parsons trade shifted the identity of the team. They've added big names, they've restructured roles, they've changed schemes, but what they haven't done is find a consistent, dominant interior presence who can hold his own against both the run and the pass. That's where Mazi Smith was supposed to fit in. When the Cowboys drafted him, they envisioned a physical freak who could eat up double teams, stop the run, and open things up for their edge rushers. He had the athleticism, the build, and the college tape that screamed NFL ready. But the NFL has a way of humbling even the most hyped prospects. Smith's rookie season in 2023 was fine. Not great, not terrible, just fine. He was a rotational guy, flashed some power, had a few solid moments, but nothing that screamed future star. Year 2 was supposed to be the breakout. Instead, it turned into a season full of question marks. The production didn't come, the consistency wasn't there, and suddenly, the Cowboys' patience started to wear thin. Fast forward to 2025, and the writing's kind of on the wall. Smith has already been a healthy scratch 3 times this season. For a former first-round pick, that's a tough pill to swallow. You don't bench guys drafted that high unless you've pretty much run out of excuses. And in the NFL, when a player can't find his role, teams don't wait around forever. Especially not a franchise like the Cowboys, who are constantly chasing the kind of roster balance that can finally push them deep into the playoffs. You can almost feel the shift happening. Dallas isn't just thinking about adding new talent. They're thinking about subtraction, about making bold moves that shake things up. And let's be real, trading Mazi Smith wouldn't just be about cutting losses. It would be a signal. It would say, we're done waiting for potential. We're chasing production now. That's a message that resonates not just through the locker room, but across the league. Because when a team like Dallas makes a move, the whole NFL takes notice. Now, context matters here. The Cowboys aren't hurting for interior defensive linemen anymore. That massive deal that brought in Kenny Clark. Yeah, that was the move that really shifted everything. Clark isn't just a stopgap. He's a Pro Bowl caliber anchor who's under contract through 2027. He brings the kind of power, experience, and leadership that this defense has been missing inside. Then you've got Osa Odigizwa, who just signed that monster 4-year, $80 million extension this past offseason. He's athletic, disruptive, and entering his prime. When you've got 2 guys like that locked in, suddenly, Mazi Smith starts to look a little expendable. And here's the tricky part. Smith doesn't really fit into new defensive coordinator Matt Eberfluss's system. Eberfluss likes his linemen versatile, quick off the snap, able to shoot gaps and create chaos. Mazi, on the other hand, is more of a power player. He wins with strength, leverage, and mass. That mismatch has shown up on film again and again this season. You can tell he's thinking too much out there, trying to adapt to a system that just doesn't play to his strengths. Sometimes, when that happens, a fresh start isn't just a cliche. It's the best possible outcome for both sides. The reality, though, is that trading Mazi Smith won't be easy. His value has dipped. There's no sugarcoating that. When you're a 24-year-old former first-rounder who's already been benched multiple times, the league takes notice. General managers talk. Scouts compare notes. Everyone knows what's going on. So if Dallas is looking to move him, it won't be for some huge return. You're not getting a day 1 or even day 2 pick back. Maybe a conditional mid-rounder, maybe a player-for-player swap. But there's still intrigue out there. Some teams love a buy low opportunity, a chance to grab a guy with untapped potential and hope a change of scenery unlocks it. You look around the league, and there are plenty of teams that could use a player like Motzi. The Patriots, for example, love to collect underperforming defensive linemen and rebuild them into system guys. The Bears could use help up front. The Raiders, the Cardinals, there's always someone looking for big bodies who can clog up the middle. And remember, Smith's still under his rookie contract through 2026. That's cheap, controllable talent for 2 more years. Any team that takes him could simply decline his 5th-year option this spring, giving themselves flexibility. But for the Cowboys, this whole situation cuts a little deeper than just a simple roster move. It's another reminder of how unpredictable the draft can be, how that promise of a can't-miss prospect can sometimes turn into a long, frustrating wait. And when you're a team like Dallas, with sky-high expectations every single season, you don't really have the luxury of waiting. Especially not now, with Micah Parsons gone and the defensive identity being rewritten on the fly. This franchise wants to stay relevant. It wants to compete. It wants to win now. And that means making tough decisions, even if it means letting go of a guy they once thought would be a cornerstone. You also can't ignore the human side of it. For Motzi, this has to sting. Imagine being drafted by one of the biggest franchises in sports, being told you're the next great Cowboy defender, and then, within 3 seasons, finding yourself on the trade block. That's a lot to process. But sometimes, that's how NFL careers unfold. Some players need a different environment to figure it out. Sometimes it's coaching, sometimes it's scheme, sometimes it's just confidence. There's no shame in needing a reset. And if Dallas does end up moving him, it might be exactly what he needs to get back on track. Meanwhile, the Cowboys keep rolling with their plans. They're focused on reshaping the front 7, tightening up the run defense, and adding pieces that fit Eberflus's blueprint. The message is clear: adapt or move on. You can feel that urgency in every roster move, every press conference, every report that leaks out of the Star. This isn't a team content with mediocrity. They're hunting for the right mix. And if that means saying goodbye to a former first-rounder, so be it. Still, you can't help but wonder what might have been. If Motzi Smith had developed the way the Cowboys hoped, maybe this defense looks completely different right now. Maybe the interior is solidified. Maybe the run game isn't such a liability. Maybe Dallas doesn't feel the need to make blockbuster trades to stay competitive. But the NFL is a results-driven league, and maybe doesn't win you games. Production does. So, as trade rumors swirl and the Cowboys weigh their options, one thing's for sure: this story isn't over yet. Whether Motzi Smith gets dealt before the deadline or finishes the season in Dallas, his career is at a crossroads. He's still young, still strong, still full of potential. But potential has an expiration date, and in the NFL, it comes faster than most players realize. The clock is ticking for Motzi Smith, and the next few weeks could determine not just his future with the Cowboys, but his place in the league altogether. For now, the Cowboys front office plays it close to the vest, but actions speak louder than words. When you bench a first-round pick 3 times, when you invest in 2 big-money defensive tackles, and when your scheme doesn't fit his style, you're not exactly hiding your intentions. The door is open. The question is, will someone walk through it? Because for Dallas, it might finally be time to turn the page, and for Motzi Smith, it might be time to start a new chapter somewhere else. Keep watching as we analyze more details about some rumors. In what might just be the most shocking move in recent NFL history, whispers and insider chatter have started circulating, suggesting that Patrick Mahomes, the superstar quarterback who has been synonymous with Kansas City Chiefs dominance, is officially leaving the Chiefs and heading to the Dallas Cowboys. Yes, you heard that right. Mahomes, the 2-time Super Bowl champion, league MVP, and arguably one of the most electrifying quarterbacks of his generation, might soon be donning the star-studded blue and silver of Dallas, sending shockwaves through the NFL and leaving fans, analysts, and even casual observers in a state of absolute disbelief. The rumors began quietly, with a few anonymous sources hinting at behind-the-scenes negotiations that could redefine the landscape of the league. However, as the days went on, the chatter grew louder, more insistent, and suddenly, what once seemed impossible started to feel dangerously plausible. It's not every day that a quarterback of Mahomes' caliber contemplates a move from a team that has built around him for nearly a decade, a team that has won a Super Bowl and consistently been in the mix for postseason glory. Yet, as the sources suggest, a combination of personal ambition, new challenges, and perhaps even a desire for a fresh start could be influencing this seismic decision. The potential fallout of this move is staggering. The Chiefs, who have been a model of consistency and innovation under the leadership of Mahomes and head coach Andy Reid, would suddenly find themselves at a crossroads. The offense, once a well-oiled machine that terrorized defenses across the league, would need to reinvent itself entirely. While the Chiefs have always had an eye for talent, Mahomes isn't just any quarterback. He's a transcendent player, the kind who can change the trajectory of a franchise almost single-handedly. And now, the possibility of him stepping onto the Cowboys field, playing under a franchise that has long been desperate to reclaim its dominance in the NFC, paints a picture that is almost surreal. The Cowboys, with their massive fan base, media scrutiny, and high expectations, have long sought a quarterback who can elevate them to elite status. Dak Prescott has been solid, but questions have lingered about whether he can truly lead Dallas to a Super Bowl. Enter Mahomes, and suddenly, the conversation changes entirely. A team that has struggled with consistency at the most crucial position could, almost overnight, become the league's most dangerous contender. The whispers from league insiders suggest that negotiations between Mahomes' camp and the Cowboys' front office have been intense but incredibly professional. Sources hint at a deal that not only makes Mahomes one of the highest-paid players in NFL history, but also gives him unprecedented control over team decisions, including personnel input, offensive scheming, and even some influence in broader organizational strategies. While these details haven't been officially confirmed, the rumor mill has been abuzz with speculation that Mahomes' move isn't just about money, it's about legacy. The quarterback has already cemented himself as one of the best in the game, but a new challenge in a high-pressure market like Dallas could solidify his status as an all-time great. The Cowboys, a franchise with a storied history but recent playoff frustrations, would gain not just a player, but a transformational figure capable of galvanizing the team, energizing fans, and intimidating opponents in a way that only Mahomes can. Meanwhile, Kansas City fans are reportedly in disbelief. Social media has exploded with reactions ranging from heartbreak to outrage, as loyal supporters try to comprehend the possibility of life without their star quarterback. Some speculate that internal conflicts, whether over coaching strategies, contract structures, or personal ambitions, might have nudged Mahomes toward this monumental shift. Others, more optimistic, hope that the rumors are simply that, rumors, and that the quarterback who has brought so much joy to Arrowhead Stadium will remain in Kansas City for years to come. But the undercurrent of excitement for Dallas fans is palpable. The idea of Mahomes in the Cowboys lineup has ignited imaginations, sparking debates about the potential impact on the NFC, playoff matchups, and even the balance of power between the AFC and NFC. Analysts are already projecting the kind of offensive fireworks Mahomes could produce with Dallas' talent pool, imagining deep passes to CD Lamb, dynamic plays from Tony Pollard, and the kind of leadership that could turn the Cowboys into a juggernaut seemingly overnight. Rumors also suggest that the timing of this move could be strategic. With free agency around the corner and the draft on the horizon, the Cowboys might be positioning themselves to not just acquire Mahomes, but to build an entire championship roster around him. This isn't just a quarterback change. This could be the foundation of a dynasty in the making. Meanwhile, the Chiefs, already juggling salary cap considerations, may face tough decisions about retaining other key players while trying to recover from the loss of a generational talent. Imagine the ripple effect across the league. Defenses that once feared Mahomes in the AFC would now have to confront him in the NFC, altering game plans, playoff strategies, and even the psychological dynamics of major rivalries. Of course, as with any story this explosive, skepticism remains. NFL insiders caution that nothing is official until the ink is dry, contracts are signed, and Mahomes himself speaks. Yet, even the faintest hint of truth has sent shockwaves through fantasy football leagues, betting markets, and sports media platforms around the world. Every analyst, pundit, and commentator is trying to decode the signals, piecing together clues from cryptic social media posts, sudden travel patterns, and uncharacteristic quietness from the Chiefs brass. Could this be a perfectly orchestrated strategy to pressure Kansas City into an even more lucrative contract offer? Or is Dallas truly about to land the crown jewel of NFL quarterbacks, changing the narrative of the league in one bold stroke? The drama doesn't stop there. Reports hint at Mahomes' personal motivations playing a role in this decision. Family considerations, lifestyle preferences, and even long-term career planning could be influencing his move. Dallas, with its high-profile market, iconic stadium, and deep-rooted football culture, may provide the perfect stage for Mahomes to not only continue his career, but to cement a legacy that transcends the field. Meanwhile, Chiefs management faces the unenviable task of addressing the locker room, managing fan expectations, and preparing for a season that might start with shock and uncertainty. Players, coaches, and staff will need to navigate the emotional fallout of potentially losing their leader, mentor, and teammate. As the story unfolds, the NFL world watches with bated breath. Social media is awash with speculation, mock drafts, and hypothetical scenarios, with fans of both teams engaging in heated debates that are equal parts fantasy and prophecy. The idea of Mahomes leading the Cowboys isn't just a rumor. It's a cultural moment, one that could define the narrative of football for years to come. Analysts are already weighing the domino effects, playoff matchups, MVP conversations, and even potential Super Bowl contenders. The ripple effect extends beyond just the two franchises involved, influencing how teams approach free agency, quarterback development, and contract negotiations across the entire league. In the end, whether this move is confirmed or remains a tantalizing what-if, it has already captured the imagination of football fans worldwide. The idea of Patrick Mahomes leaving Kansas City for Dallas is the kind of story that fuels endless debates, late-night sports podcasts, and viral social media threads. It's a narrative filled with intrigue, ambition, strategy, and the sheer unpredictability of professional sports. One thing is certain. If these rumors prove true, the NFL will never be the same. The Chiefs will have to redefine their identity. The Cowboys could ascend to new heights, and Patrick Mahomes' legacy will take on a thrilling new chapter. The whispers are getting louder, the speculation more feverish, and the world waits for the next move in what could be the most shocking, game-changing saga in modern football history. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like this video and share it with your fellow NFL fans. Stay tuned for more updates, only here on NFL News Now.